Hello everyone. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha, as always, and I hope that you've been enjoying all the videos that I've been doing on my channel. And I know I've reduced a lot from doing it every single day to once a week, but I've been working on my soul vitamins community and I've been really enjoying it actually. So I'm really happy that I made the move. I was afraid at first, but I'm really happy that I did it. In this one, I wanted to speak to you about a conversation I had recently with one of my INFJ friends, and we were speaking about how, we're both in our 30s. I'm in my late 30s, in fact. So, I was kind of thinking, we were both saying things like, we're kind of at this age now that it feels like we're kind of not even burnt out with our empathy. We're not even burnt out. I would say we're just kind of over it completely. We've kind of given all of our lives since we were children to our parents, to the people around us, and we've given and given and given and given and given and given. Received a little bit in return, obviously, of course, because the universe is not unfair that way. But after a while, you give and 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 you give, and then you just don't want to anymore. And it's kind of interesting because I was telling her, I'm like, I actually really don't like being an empath. I love being an empath, obviously. I hate it. I love it because I can really understand someone through their energy systems, and I can go into a room and really understand the dynamics of the relationships in there. Or, I can really understand what's going on with the person and help them out if need be. But then it also becomes a huge burden that, I just don't want to do it anymore. And it's sad because we have this power as an empath to be able to help people. But then I guess it's human tendency to take advantage of that. It just is the way it is, unless you actually push back and say no. But unfortunately, unless you're a really good empath with great boundaries, which I was not. I did not have good boundaries, nor was I good at empathy. So I was an average empath, and I was bad with boundaries. So for the longest time, until I would say in my 30s, I did not have boundaries, and I gave without realizing that I should create these boundaries around me. And of course, it's my fault, kind of, because then I kept on giving and giving and giving and feeling depleted and not realizing or understanding why it was this case. And of course, at first, I started resenting the people that I was giving to, because I was like, well, they're just taking from me and they just don't give back. And it feels unfair. How can they not realize that it's not right? The unfortunate thing on top of that is that being an INFJ empath is another layer. It adds another layer because INFJs are so strong on the outside and the inside as well. We're so rock solid in a lot of different ways. And we have such inner strength that a lot of people think that we can take it. And yeah, we can take a little bit of it, we can take a lot of it perhaps, but eventually everyone will have to take some time off and take a break and recharge and recuperate. And unfortunately, because everyone thinks, yeah, they're strong, INFJs are strong, we can take it, we're strong, we're empaths, but we can take it, we have so much energy, we have so much vitality. I know people always think of me, they're like, oh my God, you have so much energy, you have so much fire in you, and you're like an Energizer bunny, you can just go and go and go. But even an Energizer bunny eventually runs out of steam. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand that, so they just keep on asking and taking, and then I really have to be like, no, I'm sorry, but this is it. This is the end of the line. Unfortunately, as I said, if I was an empath with good boundaries, I'd be like, all right, right now I can't give anything to you because I am going to recharge for the next couple of days. Maybe when I come back, I can give to you again, but at this moment in time, I can't. What I ended up doing a lot of times, like, I will just cut them out completely because I was like, they just keep on taking and never giving anything back. I didn't know how to create proper boundaries or healthy boundaries. I just knew how to door slam, and so I would just door slam them in the past. And so I would lose a relationship because I just didn't understand how to be like, no, this is enough. I am putting a boundary here. Stop. Give me some space. Maybe a day, maybe 2 days, maybe a week, whatever it is that I need. I'll come back to you, and then we can restart it perhaps if you need more of me. But at this moment in time, no, I can't give you any more. I couldn't do that. And so, as I said, I started hating being an empath. And I started getting empath burnout and just being exhausted in general with people. And then shutting myself out from people, hiding in my room or hiding in my apartment, not going out to meet anyone because I was like, I don't know. I really don't want to deal with anyone because I don't know if instead of it being a conversation, it's going to be a counseling session. Like it always ended up being a counseling session because it was never like, oh, let's have a conversation, a give and take. No, it was always usually just, I need this and I need that and I'm having a hard time with this and I need you to tell me what to do, or I need you to listen to me. I'm going to vent to you and can you give me the space? And it just always ended up being that way. So I was like, I don't want to even go meet anyone anymore, right? And so as I said, I started despising and disliking being an empath. So much so that even nowadays, when people ask me for help, of course, I'm really trying as much as possible to really take care of myself, especially because I do a lot of different things so that I can give when people ask. But I also have to become very discerning in the fact that, okay, some people I will help and they will be grateful for it and then be able to use that help in a positive manner. Some people I'll give and they will be unhappy no matter what. I'll give and give and give and they'll still be unhappy. It won't do any good. It'll be a waste of my time and energy, and so that person I can't and shouldn't give to, right? So you have to kind of understand that as well. But instead, what happens with INFJs, instead of trying to understand all of this and create boundaries and then to recharge themselves properly, instead of doing all that, it just seems like a lot of work, and it just seems really annoying, obviously, and just not something that we might be interested in spending time or energy on. And so we just stop dealing with people altogether, especially the people that we know they're just going to take from us and not give anything back, which is a lot of the population. So we might have one or two people in our life, maybe, who we know are not going to suck our energy, and the rest we just kind of like say la vie, we just say goodbye to everyone, and we just live isolated lives. Which is, again, as I said, a terrible thing for an empath, because an empath is not supposed to live isolated lives. In fact, if it's done properly, being an empath and giving and counseling and advising, or giving energy that way, can actually be a recharging thing for an empath if done properly. Unfortunately, most empaths don't learn how to do it properly, of course, right? It's not something that is taught in schools, of course, because they're busy teaching other useless things. But I really wish that it was one of the main things that I learned when I was a child. I wish they had taught us a lot of different things that they did not. Of course, finances was one, but also how to create proper boundaries and how to take care of my period. That was a huge one. I've already spoken about this a lot. And of course, how to be an empath without giving too much of yourself away so you can have proper boundaries. Like, that was a huge one. If they could just have taught us this, especially the ones they knew were empaths. Because of course, the thing that I heard the most in my life is like, you're way too sensitive. You get way too tired way too easily, and you need to become stronger. You shouldn't get so tired so easily when you deal with people. They didn't understand. They still don't understand. A lot of people, that energy is more draining than anything in the world. It can suck you dry in a matter of seconds, especially if it's very potent, very negative, and very toxic. Yeah, it's like instantaneously you're drained. You might have been at 100%, and then you meet this toxic person who's draining, and you are at 0 before you can snap your fingers. A lot of people don't understand that about energy because they're not empaths. They don't get it. They don't get affected by it as much as we do. So as I said, I wanted to share this with you because I understand if you are in the same boat as me and my friend and all the other INFJs who are disliking being an empath and shutting that part of themselves off. It kind of, something that my friend said that really resonated with me is that I kind of feel that I'm becoming cold as I get older. Not in a way that I don't know if it's a bad way. Maybe it is if someone looks at it from the outside in. But for me, I'm kind of creating this wall around my heart, and I only open it for certain people and certain situations. And then the rest of the time, I'm pretty cold and stoic. And if you know me and you know me as a warm-hearted person, you might look at me in the situation where I'm being cold and you're like, I don't even know who you are. Why are you being like this? And if you know me as a cold person and you see me in a warm-hearted phase, you're like, whoa, I have no idea who you are. Get away from me. So it's kind of interesting because we do play these two quite varying roles when we go through life as an INFJ empath, because it's the way we protect ourselves. We need to do it. It's important. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to live in this world, especially as the world gets more and more chaotic, more and more negative. More and more pandemics are going to be in the future. Scientists say that this is just the first one, and they're just going to become more and more deadly and more common as time goes on. And so all this negative energy is going to be sucking us dry if we don't do something about it. Yeah. So I've given you a few tips in this video about what you could do, but of course you have to work with your own energy styles and own empath style and see what works for you. Also check out my course on boundaries, boundaries101.com, because I talk a lot about that in there. If you have questions about this, of course, let me know. I'm always happy to hear from you and happy to do videos that I'm capable of doing. And again, thank you so much for your support. Thank you, and I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.